Today, I have a very special guest in the studio of Virtuous Motherhood. I am going to be speaking to a Christian educator with 15 plus experience working with little children, teaching them what's most important. This guest is Oksana Kipko, and I'm so happy to have you, Oksana, tonight.
Thank you.
And to record this podcast, this video. I want to talk about our children.
Yeah.
And I want you to share your heart with us mothers. Most people who are watching or listening to Virtuous Motherhood podcasts are moms.
Mm-hmm.
Moms with little children, not so little children. And the name Virtuous Motherhood, we want to be virtuous, we want to be godly. And it has to do with our motherhood. It has to do with this university of motherhood that we never trained or never were warranted that it will be like a very hard, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So we need teachers, we need educators. Our children need to be educated. And I invited you today so that I can ask you some very important questions so you can help us as moms to become even better moms in this upcoming school year.
Awesome. Very good. Very
Yes.
good goals to have. I
Yes.
like it.
Yes, so for those of you who don't know who Oksana is, I would like to say that I know Oksana personally on a level that she tutored and helped and taught many of my children. We have 7 children in the family, and our children in the journey of parenting did go to different schools throughout our journey. And it was public school. We did send our children to a private Christian school, and then we did homeschooling as well. And now most of our children are doing either college or university level. Some have graduated already. So in this path, Oksana has helped my children. She taught them in the private Christian school. She helped me with homeschooling. I know her from not only from my personal level, about which we will talk about a little bit later. But in the beginning, I just want you to know that I have benefited, and my children have benefited, and actually were blessed to have Oksana in this journey of me being a mom and helping my children learn what's very important. So today, I actually, without further ado, I wanted to actually ask you, Oksana, to tell moms why you became a Christian educator. I like to call you an educator because yes, you are a teacher, but you're more than that. And you'll probably tell us a little bit about that. So what I would like to hear is, tell us your story. Tell us your story, where you are today, where it all began. Tell us about this journey from being a classroom teacher, and now your journey has turned out to be something very different, something beautiful, and just very rewarding to being a tutor for and doing one-on-one sessions with children. What led you to this calling? And like I said in the beginning, it's been 15 plus years. That's a long time. You are a pro, you're a professional, but more than that, you're not just a professional, you have a beautiful gift from God. You are a teacher and educator with the special gift from God. I'm saying this fully realizing what I mean. And so tell us where it all began. It's all yours now. So
well, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share what's on my heart and to share what I've dedicated my life to. Basically, I first and foremost praise God for just giving me the gifts that I needed to be able to help kids. I know it's all from Him and to Him and through Him. So first and foremost, I give all glory to God for my whole teaching career, for the way He made me to love kids, because I consider that a gift. I thought it was natural. I thought that's something that all people experience and feel. And as I grew and started teaching and started going to school and things like that, and I quickly realized it's definitely not natural to everyone. It is a gift and I treasure it. Sometimes I say it's a blessing and a curse, because I You know, it's so nice to be able to connect with kids and understand them and to be able to help the different needs that they have, but also sometimes I feel too much and I'm like, oh, I can't take on any more issues, any more problems. It hurts when my mom, you know, shares stories like, oh, I have a friend who blah blah. I'm like, don't tell me, because I'm gonna want to. I'm gonna want to help them, and I'm gonna want to invest in it, and so that's why I consider that. But I've wanted to be a teacher. Let's be like short, because this could take a long time.
But take your time.
I've wanted to be a teacher my whole entire life. Everyone around me will tell you that. I tried to make my sister be my student from when we were kids. And she just wanted to catch frogs outside, and I was like, no, you need to finish your work assignments right now. And
I love this. I love where this is going.
So from a young age, and there was no question, after I finished high school, went to college, there was no question about which career I was going to choose. Teaching was always it. So I started working hard to do that. I was given a wonderful opportunity to teach at a private Christian school that was just starting, and it was like a trial basis, like finish your schooling while you're already teaching type of thing.
You did not complete any education before you
started? No, I started right away. Yeah, and I was in the middle of my bachelor program at school, so I would teach all morning to through the afternoons, and right after school was out, I would head to UW to take my classes and evening classes. So it was a very busy time in my life, but my parents fully supported both, like packing me lunches and everything. 18 when I started, 18. So yeah, very young. And I knew right from that first class, I'm still friends with some of the kids who are in my very first kindergarten class, and they're married now, have kids, and I'm like, messaging them on Instagram like, good job, you're teaching them so well how to read and how to do things, and it's just amazing, the circle of life. But from an early age, I decided to do that. I loved it, every single moment of it, and I've spent a lot of time going to school, getting my education completed, getting all the certification that I needed to do. Different things happened in life that led me on to different schools, different journeys. I also, after the passing of my dad, we needed to just get away and, reset our lives. And our mom really pushed us, me and my younger sister. And so we went to seminary, and that's where we got our Master's of Christian Education, which further solidified everything I'd been learning at a secular university. I mean, not solidified, opposite. It transformed
yes.
transformed what I already knew and felt about kids and education into a more biblical worldview of how to teach and how to love students.
Can you tell us which seminary you went to?
Yes, New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. Shout out to them, a wonderful place. And I highly encourage anyone who has kids to send your kids and pay for them and encourage them to go to a undergrad at a Christian university. And there's so many good ones, but it will transform their faith and just make it so real for them and give them real life experiences that secular colleges, while they can do some, they don't do it the way they should. So
and we will talk a little bit about different models of education and how they affect our children. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But continue telling us your story.
So I guess that's just a way of saying I've been there, done that in lots of different ways. I've been the secular route, I've been the hardcore evangelical Christian route, and I know my philosophy, I know my teaching strategies, and they're solid. So so that's a little about teaching, how I started. I've been to different private schools, helped homeschools for sure, and I went through, you guys are probably aware of COVID 2020, you know how that was. It was a disaster on education, disaster. And I was right there, front lines with my we shouldn't say dumb. I'm so sorry, audience.
It's okay.
The awful mask, and I was right there with all the kids, all the 25 kids in my class, masked up, trying to teach them phonics. Try that with the mask on. But we did that. We did the online everything, and through that, a lot of bad came, as you guys probably have witnessed too. And because of that, it really spurred me to start praying really hard and asking God, like, is this what you have for me to do? Is this all I'm meant to do? Walk down these halls, follow somebody else's instruction, follow somebody else's plan for my life, follow the protocol, do exactly as I'm told, even though I feel like God has revealed to me and opened to me different practices and different methods of reaching kids where they are. And God, as he is always faithful, always answers prayers, and he started working in my life in a way I never thought that it would be possible to do. But I started just seeing the need for meeting kids' needs one-on-one, and how a classroom setting was not meeting those needs and could not. One adult woman or man, whoever the teacher is, cannot possibly meet the needs of 25 to 35 little human beings. Can't. There's often not enough resources, both in private schools, especially because they have to fund themselves, and public schools, where the funding goes wherever else it will want to go, except for your kids' betterment. And so seeing all of those problems and seeing the kids in my classroom and the needs that they had, and that I just didn't have enough hours in the day to help them, I was like, okay, I think I should. I mean, it wasn't me. I know it was God pushing me to do that, and through some family members who really encouraged me and said, hey, you need to try this. Like, go ahead and step out and do this. And so I started tutoring after school. So I would work 40 plus hours, and then in the evenings I would take on some clients to tutor. And quickly I learned that lots of people need one-on-one help, and my client base grew so much that I realized that I can't continue both jobs, so I had to make a choice. So I left teaching happily. Like, I guess it was a little bittersweet. It's hard to leave a career you've known for 16, 17 years. But at the same time, I was excited for being able to work one-on-one and really target what a child needed help with, and see that progress, and then send them off and next one. And instead of just teaching to the general population. So I guess that's kind of my journey.
That sounds very exciting. I'm sure you skipped some very interesting parts.
Probably.
Especially about, you said that you went to a few private schools, but you were not a student. You went there to do what? Could you expand on that just a little bit? What kind of things have you done in the education area?
Definitely. I mean, at this point, I don't remember all the roles and the titles, but quickly, the fact that when God gifts someone and they choose to not bury those talents and instead use them, I mean, people notice that. Kids notice that, parents notice that, and I consider it a blessing and an honor to be able to use my talents to help families. And so, I was given the opportunity, the honor to, be coordinator, to be assistant principal at a time, to be a principal at another time. And that was fun, that was great, but I quickly realized that kids are my thing, and adults, just, I'm so sorry you guys, God bless you and everything, but you guys are so frustrating sometimes. And it's just kids are just, I have a language with them, I have an understanding.
What language is that?
Yeah, a special one, clearly. And it's just, that's my gifting, is helping kids and meeting them where they are. And so, yes, while I took on some admin roles, they're fun, they're great, but I'll leave that for other people who, that is their calling. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself. I actually am thinking about recording a different podcast about your life, and but
follow my mom's footsteps.
Yes, I would like to. Yes. But now I would like to transition into the way you can help us moms be better moms at helping our children succeed academically.
Sure.
You are a teacher. You are an educator who helps children succeed academically with based on the godly biblical principles. So let's talk about reading foundation.
Oh, my favorite subject. Yes.
Really? Okay, let's start with that. So why do you believe that reading is such a foundational skill for kids of all ages? Foundational by saying foundational, it's something that you start with.
Yeah.
That's where you begin. Well, in the beginning, there was a word.
Exactly.
That's
Wow.
the passage
Look
that
at
comes
you.
to my
Yeah,
mind in the
exactly.
beginning, and the word was God,
Yeah.
with God, and the
Yeah.
word was God.
Yeah.
So we
was.
our life, we're social creatures, and God created us to understand words and to express us, to express ourselves in words.
Yeah.
So help us to understand why reading is important, and how we can be better at helping our children learn.
And just like you said, reading is the doorway to everywhere else and everything else for a kid. For a kid, for an adult, whoever it might be. And I have now met both kids and all the way up to adults that are my clients that struggle with reading.
Oh.
And it's a hard journey to realize, hey, I'm an adult and I never got this when I was a child. I never got this in school. My parents didn't see the time, didn't see the money, didn't want to put the finances into that. So here I am now and I'm struggling, like help me out. And just being able to see that it's a need that everyone has and needs to be met. And you'd think, okay, we're in America, right? 2025. We have all the means necessary for us to be able to learn how to read, and yet look up some statistics. We are
Share
some
with us,
of the.
please.
I do not have them right now.
But in general,
but we are
simplify.
very, like, America as a nation could be considered like on a high scale of illiteracy, and it's widespread through public schools, but it is definitely touches private schools, and even though homeschool parents think they are better at a lot of things than everybody else, there's definitely illiteracy in homeschool families.
So first of all, it needs to be recognized.
Yeah, and I feel like if we as adults, not just teachers, not just educators, not even just moms, everybody, all adults recognize, like, hey, this is a basic necessity, just like food, water, diapers. Reading is one of those things. You read to babies from when they're little, like you should be reading. You should be reading, and it's just a necessity that they need to have. That's how they can communicate. First and foremost, that's how they read and learn about God and God's plan for their life. And if they're never going to read the Bible, and they're not going to be able to fluently read it and understand it, then how are they going to know his beautiful plan for their life? They're not going to listen to you forever, maybe till they're a certain age, but then they're going to have to find out information on their own. And the Bible is the best way for them to be able to do that. So our goal always, when I worked at Christian schools and homeschools too, is to teach a child to read so that they can have their own Bible, so that they could read God's word on their own. And so that is just the most important thing.
Well, help us out. Help us out in terms of recognizing. So first we need to, we as moms, we assume better about our kids. We are kind of blinded to the challenge, to seeing challenges that our kids face. And that's a problem. Maybe it's a topic for a separate podcast. But help us to cue us in on how to notice that our child is not doing very well. So how do we recognize signs of that our child has a problem with reading, and then give us some tips on how do we cultivate this love for reading.
Trying to make it as simple as we possibly can, because that would also require another topic. But reading is, I'll back up a little bit. Reading is so foundational because it's the basis for every other subject. If a child learns how to read, then they can acquire knowledge in math, in science, in history, in art, in music, everything else. And if they don't, then they're going to struggle in all of those. And while they're struggling, they're missing all this valuable information and valuable practice time that they're having. And so to cut down on that, in my opinion, and this is based on how many years, how many schools, how many, the population has been different. Age, race, everything, ethnicity, like, the problem remains the same no matter who you are, or what church you go to, or what city you live in. And the thing is, school is done in a very a foundational way, but like it goes in order. And order, first of all, is from God, because he ordered everything. He made a specific day when he created everything in order. He's the God of order, not disorder. We learn that in the Bible. And reading and school is the same way. Everything is done grade by grade by grade for a purpose. It builds on each other. Yes, thank you. It builds on each other. And if a child skips a step or is pushed and like, oh, let's just go on to the next one, like No Child Left Behind, which was All Child's Left Behind children. And it's just, when you're pushed and you skip those things, it'll still show up in different ways and in different times. And if you do it in the right order and you do it systematically, every child can learn to read. So I'll make a caveat. I'm not talking about kids that have special needs. I'm not talking about kids that have learning disorders. I'm not talking about kids that have medical conditions. I'm not talking about those exceptions. That's a different topic. The general population, the general child, ones you see every day, you have at your house probably, those kids, if using the right approach and using it systematically, every kid can learn to read.
Oh, that
and
sounds
every
very,
kid can
very
learn
encouraging.
to succeed. Absolutely. What happens is when a teacher paired with parents get a little bit relaxed, a little bit lazy, a little bit inconsistent, then a child can slip through the cracks. And then you reach 4th, 5th grade and you're like, wow, he's failing all his subjects. Well, I wonder why. Is he understanding anything? Can he comprehend what he's reading? And I'm saying he, she, you get it, any child. Is he understanding? Is he able to, the thoughts that he reads, then think it through in his head and then verbalize them out loud? There's a missing part somewhere. And it happened kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade. And I think that's what parents, a lot of times I hear, because parents come to me and they say things like, it's okay, он подрастет чуть-чуть. It's like, oh, he'll grow up a little, he'll grow out of it. Oh, he's just a boy, like they just like to do this. Oh, it's okay. I struggled like that when I was little, so it's okay. And I'm like, just because we struggled with something when we were little doesn't mean that should be the future we want for our kids. If we struggled with something, then we should do everything we can to make sure that they don't struggle in that aspect educationally. I don't mean anything else, because kids should struggle through lots of different things to learn resilience and learn hard work. So what was I saying, basically?
You were trying to help us to see the signs of a child not doing well with reading.
So let me tell you some things that people don't want you to know. Public school doesn't want you to know. A child going to public school has to be tested, and when they're tested 2 grade levels below where they are, that's the first time that they can get help. That's when they can get pull-out service where a teacher...
Wait a moment. Say it again.
I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Post it anywhere you want to. 2 grade levels behind, if not more, because some schools are poor funding, some don't have enough to have a specialist to be able to do that. Some specialists don't really care about their job, they're just doing it as a job. But for a child to get pull-out service or push-in service, they have to be tested at least 2 grade levels below where they are. So imagine if a 1st grader is struggling in reading. There's no way for a 1st grader to be tested 2 grade levels below, because they haven't even had enough schooling to do that. So they're gonna wait, they're gonna continue to struggle in 1st, continue to struggle in 2nd, till they get to 3rd grade. Where 3rd grade, you're not learning to read, you're reading to learn. And when it makes that transition, then there's no going back, because now you're just going up 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, up and up and up. And there's no time to pause, because the curriculum is going. Like I said, it builds on each other and it has to keep going. The wheel is spinning and you can't stop it.
So what, if I'm understanding you correctly, one of the signs that your child is not doing well with his reading foundation is he starts to fail in science, in history, in math.
Sure, that's upper grades.
Deeper.
That's upper grades for sure. Yes, in upper grades, that's the biggest sign. If they're struggling, and they come to me for tutoring and for help, that's where I go. I go back to the foundations.
What about younger children? What are the signs that they're not
Same thing.
well?
Same thing I was going to say in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. It depends how vigorous your school is or how your homeschooling program is, which homeschooling programs, some of them are not very vigorous in how they're doing that, or they're a little more laid back. Okay, we'll talk about homeschool later.
Yes, I would have that.
Yeah, and which I fully support homeschool. All my sisters homeschooled their kids, and it's a wonderful experience. But there's some problems that have arisen from that. So in younger grades, how do you know if a child is struggling? So there's anytime you're sent paper home, any little worksheets, right? And if it doesn't have like gold star and a happy face, I would look at those and see, okay, reading is not that hard. It's not that hard. If you like break it down systematically, you learn your letter sounds, you learn your vowel sounds, then you start putting 2 letters together, then you start putting 3 letters together, then you start putting words together, then you start putting sentences together, then it's paragraphs, and then it's a whole book. If you work step by step, and wherever your child seems to be struggling at, if they don't know their letter sounds, why would you give them a book? They can't read the book, they can't comprehend it. You have to go there. And there's so many resources at this point to type into ChatGPT, oh, my child is struggling with this, ChatGPT, help me. It will give you all the information that you need. There's no excuse right now. There's no excuse. And if you are like, okay, I don't feel confident, I don't know, I'm not sure, my teacher hasn't told me, which, okay, another caveat. Teachers generally will not tell you anything until parent-teacher conferences in November. November is the first time you probably have the first face-to-face, unless your child already has a reputation, already has been struggling, already has files, and then it's like your teacher is aware of that. Okay, so-and-so is having this, and then maybe they'll have phone calls or emails or things like that with you. Otherwise, if you're just the general population, you won't hear from the teacher about good or bad until those conferences. So imagine September, October, end of November, it's close to Thanksgiving time that happens. 3 whole months your kid has been going to school day after day, 7 hours a day, and you're thinking, great, fantastic. Then it's November, Thanksgiving, time off from school. Then it's December, you only have 2 weeks of school, and then it's Christmas vacation. Then it's January, Happy New Year. Then you finally get back into school January. So imagine September, October, November, December, January. So you're 5 months into school, which is halfway through the school year, until you realize, oh my gosh, sorry again, virtuous motherhood. Oh my goodness, oh my, like, my child is struggling in January. And it's like, by then you're halfway through the school year, your child's months have been wasted where you could have been getting help, but you're not. And so a lot of parents learn to rely on the school, like they'll tell us. And when they tell us, that's when we'll get help and things like that. I'm here to tell you, no, they won't tell you. No, they won't. A lot of teachers have, no, that'll be a different podcast. I'm not gonna, but I would like to write a tell-all one day, like a book exposing everything teachers think and what happens, because it's a lot. But a lot of people give teachers and schools the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they didn't tell us. Our principal didn't do this. Our school is such a good district. Oh, we live in such a good neighborhood. Okay, you can live in a good neighborhood and go to a good school and have a good principal, and your child still be missed. There's not enough time.
So what are some things are out of our control, but what can we do at home to help our children to love to read? So reading to them from birth up, like books, showing them pictures, showing them how the pages turn. There's so many cool books and colorful books and black and white books. And if you've ever held a baby and shown them little books, and when they realize like they can point, or it squeaks, or it does something, like, come on, you can't go back from that. Like the joy of seeing a kid realize that, where they put the little mirrors and then you could see your face in the book and the kid is so happy. And then just continuing, having a place in your house that has books, going to the local library to have books. If kids don't see you guys doing it,
why would they think that that's important?
But would it be possible if parents have not developed the love for reading?
Yeah.
Would it be still possible for?
Yeah.
Is there hope
You
for
can fake
children?
it till you make it. Of course you can. Do you love washing the dishes always? No, especially after a month in. Like, no, you don't want to. You don't want to wash it, but you still do it. You enjoy the clean plates.
Yeah.
Same thing. You might not enjoy reading, but it's important. It's a valuable skill. So you have to model it. Buy them new books. When the Scholastic Book Fair comes to school, come on. Give them $20. Like, what's the big deal for them to buy a new book? Or, you know, or one thing that my sisters do, which is very cool, during Christmas time, we do the cousin book gift exchange. And so it's like, instead of presents, which they're already gonna get toys, they're already gonna get all the fun stuff anyway, they continue to instill that love for reading. So they each child handpicks one person, and they exchange who the person is, then they find that book, and it's exciting. The kids are, as they're growing older, they're like, oh, which one? This Oliver would love this book. Like, they're getting excited about it. You might think it's a little thing, you might think, oh, they don't notice, because kids don't always say, oh, Mom, you're the best mom, thank you so much for this wonderful tradition. They might not say that yet, but they will one day. They will one day when they experience it in their life. And so those are just little ways to show kids, like, wow, it's so important that we even include it in a Christmas tradition. Like, that's how important reading is. So it's just little ways that you can do, and little ways that even if reading is not that important to you, it should be important. Your kids should be important enough to you that you want them to have that skill. And one thing I will back up to, how do you notice? I do want to emphasize that kindergarten and first grade is such an important, those 2 years of learning sounds and how to put them together, like how to blend, how to take away the beginning and the end sounds, rhyming, all of that, things that you think, oh my gosh, those are just kindergarten things to do. They're actually developing the part in the brain that will help them to learn to read and put things together. So rhyming books and little tongue twisters and things like that, where they have to circle the letter it starts with, all of those are so important and not to be skipped. So that's why I'm saying, when work comes home, which it does, it really does, especially in the younger years, instead of just tossing it all away or putting it in a box, just going through it and being like, wait, are they making mistakes, or are they making the connections? And if they're not making the connections, I would take that seriously.
And talk to the teacher,
I would not. You don't need to talk to the teacher. Get your own flashcards. Talk to your child. Point out the letters. Point out the sounds. See where they are. And if you don't know, just come to me. www.misskipko.com.
Yes.
Like, I can assess all of those things and show you how then you can implement it at home and to continue to do that.
That's wonderful.
But don't wait. Don't wait until your child is in 3rd grade and 4th grade and 5th grade and being like, oh, I never knew. There are signs. Signs are, they don't want to do homework, they don't want to do schoolwork, they don't want to write, they don't want to do the work that it takes to put into it, they don't want to do the book reports, they feel bad about it, they throw a fit, or they hide it, or they don't want to do it. The work that comes home, if it's not checked or if it's checked poorly, and a lot of it is their attitude too. And when kids are excited about something, you know that they're excited about it. So if they're not excited about reading, it's literally your job to make them excited about it. And don't think your child's teacher is going to do that. Your child's teacher is just one human being. And sometimes they're very gifted and they can do that.
Yes.
And sometimes you get stuck with a teacher who's been teaching for 35 years. It's their last year. They're just waiting for their pension, or they're waiting for whatever. And it's you get what you get, and that's it. So.
And so reading is very, very important, but there is also math.
Yes, definitely.
What do you have to say about math? That is probably a little bit harder, but what makes the early math years so important?
Well, what happens is basic math, like adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, those are foundational. If your child learns them and learns them fluently, then every other math skill that builds upon it will be successful for them. But if you don't emphasize it and you don't put in the time and the effort, some kids catch on naturally. they're naturally just like, oh, I can memorize the facts, I know them off the top of my head. And some people think, oh, they don't need any work, okay. And then when your next child comes who doesn't naturally get it, you're like, wow, like, what happened? What can I do? Like, you're supposed to just know this information. It's not. Some kids are all different. You should know. They're all different, although I think all of yours are pretty good at that.
Are inclined to
Yeah.
do math
Yeah.
much faster and just easier.
Yeah,
That's so true.
exactly. But that doesn't mean others or other of your kids don't need some additional help. So it doesn't.
But then how do I help my child when he does math at home with the homeschool or brings homework for math, so that he doesn't feel like this is a drill work?
Yeah. Oh, so I love that question, because not everything in life needs to be fun. Okay. So people have made the word drill and drilling into a bad word. Like, oh, we can't just flashcard them all the time. It's so boring. Okay. There's a lot of things in life that are boring, but they're still necessary to do. And for math facts, drilling is literally a proven method across everywhere that it works and it's important and necessary. Some kids are wired differently by God, and some kids need to have to be more visual. Some need things in their hands to be able to count them and put it together for their brain to be like, oh, okay, I get what it is. Most, they just need the drill. You don't need to make it fun, but you do need to make it consistent. You need to be consistent, and a lot of math problems that come, it's because if you just peel back a few layers, it's because they don't know their multiplication facts. So how are you going to do fractions? How are you going to find the lowest common denominator if you don't know your multiplication table? Your brain isn't thinking by counting the numbers in that way. And so, yeah.
And now that, for example, let's imagine a family where a mom is thinking more seriously. She has listened to the podcast. She's praying to God about being a better mom, especially in the academic area, to help her children. So from your perspective, how can parents know when tutoring might benefit their child?
Yeah.
Or is it just okay to just help your child on your own?
Yeah.
Or when is tutoring help with a professional is critical, important? When is that time?
Well, I mean, and I'm not going to say it as if it's so easy. I understand to the extent that I can that parenting is difficult, that managing more than one child, it's difficult to keep track of everybody's schedule, their needs, their growth, their spiritual, their mental, their physical. It's a lot. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's an easy checklist, just do this. Like, why aren't you doing that? It's hard, and God bless you guys. God bless you guys to have enough wisdom and enough energy and health and discernment to tackle these things every single day. But if you are seeing some kind of problems, if you can help, if you can try to explain or teach them tricks like how you learned it, because there's so many good tricks. New math came out, and new math is just, you guys probably know it, because you probably can't help your kid with your math homework anymore, because the way that they want them to accomplish the problem is not the basics like how we learned it back in the day. And that's just by memorizing and practicing and solving. And so you find that you can't really help them. If you can help them, go ahead, teach them the tricks, help them, sit with them, take time to do that. If you have a family member, a grandpa, a grandma, someone, an older sibling who knows how to do it, okay, go ahead, get them. If you are like, wow, I don't know, their grade keeps staying at a steady C, like we can't get them up any higher, they don't want to do their homework, they're struggling, then yeah, reach out to, and I would say, I mean, I can't give any recommendations apart from myself, so reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you, and I could kind of point you in a right direction of where you can try. But two schools do have some tutoring available, but usually it's already the teacher that's worked all day long in the class, and then they have to stay later to make some extra money. And I mean, is that the kind of environment you want. They're already tired. Like, I don't know. That's not.
And from your experience, what a difference.
That wasn't very positive. Sorry.
Rephrase
That
it.
wasn't very positive. I haven't had the best experience with tutors at a school. But if you have, great, fantastic, tell me who they are. Maybe I can hire them and they can leave school and come work with me instead. It might be possible, yeah.
So what difference have you seen tutoring one-on-one makes, and how long does tutoring usually go for?
Sure.
Is this something temporary, or what factors play into this? Could you tell?
Yeah, if you come, so basically I diagnose because I'm not a doctor, but I basically can assess your child and see where the missing pieces are in their learning. And once I know what those are, that's where I start from. And a lot of parents come and they want this problem dealt with, but not the one down here, because this one takes longer and a little bit more work. So they want, just let them pass on my test, like let them pass the class. And I'm like, well, for them to pass the class and pass the test, they need their foundational knowledge. So it works. So there's two types of students that come to me, two types of clients. The ones that have a deeper lying problem. And so, it'll take longer. It'll take multiple times a week, consistently, a few months, half a year, maybe a year. You can ask, they'll be happy. They're happy after that year that they spent that time, and now their child is doing so much better. But there's also the second type where it's just like upkeep, right? They're fine, they're okay, they're good. They just need some help in, writing an essay, or they need help with a certain project that they're working on, a certain skill that's not as foundational. And so then those, you can come for 4 sessions and be done with it and move on. There's 2 different ways.
And while we're talking about helping children, and we just finished talking about reading, you said we take your children to the library.
Yes.
And I've done that. My children love to read, but when I come to the library, I have difficulty helping my children pick the right books, because I grew up in a different country, and I'm familiar with different kind of literature, and so my skill ends at the library level. I have a great challenge helping my children pick up the appropriate books. What can parents do? What are some resources that are available to help us pick the right books, appropriate content level, and so on?
And you're not alone. A lot of parents have the same issue. Whenever I talk about reading, all my DMs are like, do you have a list? Can you send me a list? As if there's some magical list. And if they just read those books, they're going to be such well-developed human beings, and everything will be right with the world, and they're going to enjoy reading. Maybe, but every person's list is different. If I asked you what your favorite books or what books, shaped who you are, and you asked me, our list would be very different. Some books might be on the same list, some might not be. Every child is different. And so to pick right books, a child has to discover for themselves what their interests are. So you're wondering, okay, how you walk into the library, here's the kids section, there's rows and rows of books, how am I supposed to pick? What am I supposed to do? And for a long time, it was hard to answer that question, because I know books because that's all I've been doing for 17 years, right? Is just reading the picture books,
take you to the library
books.
Every time I go, that's
what I do for one of my sisters. I do help with the kids until they learn to become such good readers on their own, right? But you learn, but to discover, you learn the classics, you learn, biographies that are important, that are shaping for you to read. But then you're walking in and you see left and right stacks and rows and rows and rows of books, and you're like, I have no idea. How am I gonna know? And a lot of times you don't even know what your child is reading, because watch you get an avid reader who's like, okay, just what's it called, consuming books, right? And you can't keep up, because you can't even keep up with your own books. So you're wondering, how am I supposed to know that what they're reading is good, is positive, it's beneficial to their mind and to their growth. And I'm so glad you asked this question, because
yes, please help us.
we saw this need, and not we, but I mean, a lot of people have seen this need, and our brother actually is working on an app that will help parents to easily be able to go into a library, go into a bookstore, go on Amazon, get a reading list that your local middle school, high school is saying, oh, here are the books, the novels that we're reading this year. To be able to scan those books and to know with just one little click the content that is in the book. They'll be able to know if there's any violence, if there's any inappropriate content in it, if there's any foul language, if there's any LGBTQ content, any of that with a simple click. It is called Next Page, and it's currently in the testing form right now and form stages. And if you guys are interested, if you're avid readers actually, please reach out. We could put you in contact and help. And it should be in the Apple App Store sometime this September. So it's very exciting. And it's a way that I've just been scanning. I've been now visiting all the local libraries and just scanning just to see and to continue to compile my list of what I would recommend and what I would never recommend.
That's
so
very nice.
Yeah.
We need more helpful resources like that.
Yeah, we do.
Could you, let's talk about faith in education. So, and you started in the very beginning that you did go to a secular college, then you went to the seminary, and faith makes a huge difference. So, how has your faith, Oksana, influenced the way you approach teaching and tutoring? What role does your faith play in the way you teach children?
Well, my faith is really the foundation of everything that I do. My faith in God is what shapes the way that I look at a child. And the Bible says that kids are a treasure, they're a gift, that they're made in His image. And when I understand how God views people and how God views kids, that's how I need to view them too. I don't view them as a distraction. I don't view them as a problem or a difficulty. I view them as like, wow, they have a hidden potential. They're a treasure. They're beautiful. They're needed. They're amazing. And that's how I'm able to look at them. Without my faith, I wouldn't have that much patience. I wouldn't have that much drive. I wouldn't have that much determination. I wouldn't be just like racking my brain trying to think, how can I handle this problem? How can I help this child? Like, how can I do that? All I do is I wake up with a prayer. God, you know the kids I'm going to meet with today. You know exactly what their brain needs. You know what their body needs. Help me to see that. Help me to feel it, and help me to meet their needs. Or help me to direct them to someone who can do that. And so without my faith, I'd have nothing.
I imagine that the audience of Virtuous Motherhood is a Christian audience. And whenever we as moms talk to each other about different ways, different models or opportunities to educate our children, there are a few options available here in America. Would it be okay if we talked about different models and what are some things to be aware of? Can you help us you've worked in all different models and so of education. Can you give us a few warnings about, you've touched upon parents who think that if they're sending their children to public school, they try to comfort themselves by saying that they live in a good neighborhood, so can you speak about public schools and what are the main dangers or warning signs about public schools? And then we're gonna touch base about the private Christian schools and homeschools, things that parents should be aware of. We're not going to say which way is better. Every family has their own unique, it's their decision on how they decide to educate their children. But being you've been on the other side, not the parental side, but the educator side.
Yeah.
Tell us about some things that we need to be aware of.
Yeah,
if
that's
okay.
That's quite a question. Yes, and I have clients who are right now all from Christian schools, from private schools, from just everything you name, public schools, homeschool, no school, like everything in between. So I want to be sensitive to that. I want
to the choices
that they make. I do tell my clients, so I think it's safe to say that I do not recommend any public school to anybody.
Why is that?
I don't care if you're in the richest neighborhood and you think you have the nicest school. I don't recommend public
What are some
schools.
myths that we as parents believe about?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me what those myths are that you guys believe and why you believe them. I
Well,
don't understand.
One of the myths is that our children should be evangelizing the world.
Okay.
What can little children do in this secular and very hostile environment?
And you know what? Let's bring it back to that's the direction of your heart and your mind and your own faith.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a really good understanding of who God is and what our mission in life is, you'll know that like saved people are evangelizing to non-saved people. So me as an adult, or when I was 13 and I gave my life to Christ and I started learning what it meant to follow him, okay, maybe I could evangelize.
Mm-hmm.
How a 5-year-old who literally was born 5 years ago, so he's only spent 5 years in this world, how is he going to evangelize to a group of kids in a classroom that comes from every type of background that you can imagine? And they're coming in like charged up from what their upbringing is like. So they're bringing into the classroom every kind of different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your 5-year-old gonna do, 6-year-old, 7-year-old gonna do just by being there and that people know that they're Christian? I don't see it. If someone can prove it and say it, but I'm gonna say, why aren't you doing that? And why are you sending your child to do that? Because I'd love to meet a family that could tell me, like, the parents and the older siblings and everybody, they're like so on fire, they're out there, they're bringing people in, they're bringing food, they're doing all of these things instead of just them going to their job and sending their kid to school to be light. Really? Why aren't you being a light? Since when are kids supposed to be the sacrifice for that?
What about academics in public school?
Yeah, they're low. They're very low. Like I'm saying, the standards are very low. Kids are struggling. Kids, even well-off kids from well neighborhoods to other neighborhoods, they're still struggling. The same problems remain. Mm-hmm. There's no time for my kid. He's not getting any pull-out service at all. Like, they're just getting pushed along till they graduate. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm not talking about the kids who we talked about earlier, who are naturally, they just get it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of parents use that as an excuse, like, oh, look, he gets it, he's fine, he's doing fine, his grades are high, he's on the soccer team, he has friends. Okay, that's great for him. That might be great for him, but it's not a prescription for everybody, else.
Well, then the conclusion might be that, a private Christian school is a perfect answer. Yeah. That if we send our children to a private Christian school, I'm off to do my things. Yeah. My kids are in the Christian environment. Are there any things that we need to be on the lookout for?
I think if we remember that we're all human, mm-hmm. and so is your teacher, and so are the district people, and so are the principals and everybody, and everyone makes mistakes, and everyone is a sinful, fallen human being. And it's there's not going to be perfection anywhere. There's not going to be perfect in a private school or homeschool because you're a sinful, fallen mom and dad. And it's not going to be perfect at home either. There's going to be negatives everywhere. So I can't. I'm sorry. I can't answer that question. And mm-hmm. I don't want to offend anybody. Mm-hmm. Although I'll offend it if I need to. But in this regard, whatever you guys choose with schooling, and I know because I've been talking nonstop for the last month with parents who are struggling with this same question and just asking me, please, can you tell me which curriculum, which school, which city, what should I do, but I can't do this. And I'm like, I'm
what do you
sorry.
usually say
I feel
to these
I
parents?
say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Can I just pray for you right now? Because it's hard. It's a very big responsibility to know you're deciding the future, you're deciding the foundation for your child, and to get on the same page with your husband and to make sure you guys can afford it, you can drive between your schedules and everything. It's hard. So I can't even begin to step into your place and be like, oh, okay, this is what you should do. No,
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, that's not for me to decide. And I just pray, like, God bless all the parents to make the best decision that they can for their, so that's what I'm saying. Make the best decision you can for your family and for your kids, and not for yourself. And if that's the only encouragement I would say, if you're doing it just because it gives you extra time and you're hiding under the like pretense, like, oh, it's a good neighborhood, it's a good school, like, what else can I do? It's my only option. I can't teach at home, so I have to send them to this school. If that's your only reason, then that's kind of selfish. It's if it was a real reason, like you can't afford private school, like you're already barely making ends meet, okay, then you have to do financially what's best for your family, and God will see that and put a hedge of protection on your children, you know, because God's not blind. He knows everything. He knows the thoughts and intentions of your heart, so you can't hide that from him. So just don't try to hide it from yourself, and don't cover it with like, oh, this is the best. Really, is it the best, or is it just the best for you? So yeah, I can't say.
Being so sincere. For all the moms who are listening who have chosen to do homeschooling, what are some you've observed homeschooling? You said your sisters do homeschool, and you've been a part of homeschool for some capacity. What would you say we need to be careful about homeschool moms?
There's like this wave. I love it. I love all the homesteaders now. I love everyone making sourdough and having chickens, and you know, just doing the homeschool at home, just being at home with their kids, playing in the yard. It's great. It's wonderful. It's nice. It's wonderful, but there's still some basics that you need to make sure that your children know and learn and practice. And you can't just say, oh, everything about education and public school and private schools is bad, that's why we chose this, so we're going to do it completely different from them. That's like a childish way to look at it. There's good things about structure, and good things from each of those school platforms.
Structure, is that the key
structure
word
is
for
such
homeschool?
Structure, people think it's a bad word, but it's not a bad word. Your structure is different from my structure, but we both have structure, and it helps us to succeed in life. So what's important is to not look down on what that means for your family, and not to look down what it means for my family, but there has to be some structure. There has to be some non-negotiables. Our family will do this, our kids will learn this, and for what reason, and to have those. So before you start the school year, talk to your husband, talk with your family, like, what do we want to see at home? Like, why did we choose to be at home? Why did we choose to take our kids away? So we're not rushing all the time. So someone else is not telling us what to do. Okay, great. So how are you making this intentional, peaceful time now that you're not rushing out the door at 8 a.m.? Like, is it peaceful in the morning? Like, set up those schedules, set up that rhythm that you have through the day, so that it's actually a good thing that you came home. So structure, schedules, plans, goals, those are all good things. Those are all good things that I encourage families to have.
Very good. Thank you so much. If you could give parents one piece of biblical wisdom, as they we're getting ready to send our kids. Some states have started their school year in August. We're getting ready. Most of us here on the West Coast, we're gonna send our kids, and by send I mean we're gonna start a new school year with our kids. And our kids will be going to music lessons, to language schools, to Sunday schools. So they're going to be around other kids, other adults, but we will remain the same. We will continue to be their parents. What piece of biblical wisdom would you share with us
Yeah.
today? What would that be, please?
I'm like really sorry, but I have 3.
Wonderful. Yes.
One, it was
More
hard
is
to
be-
it's
more
hard
is
to
better.
narrow down.
Please,
So
yes.
I'll shortly
it.
share
Yes.
each one. The first one that I have is to keep the main thing, and we find that in Matthew 6:33, where it says to seek first the kingdom of God. That's so important, more than grades, more than test scores, more than what school you go to or what sport your child is or how many accolades they get. What matters is pointing your child to Christ, and that's our first and foremost thing. If your home keeps him first, then everything else will fall into place. But if you're putting him after soccer or after piano or after your nails or hair appointment, things are going to be messed up and turned around. And so my encouragement is to keep him first and to find small ways or big ways that right away from the moment you wake up and walk into the kitchen in the morning, there's something that your kids know, okay, in this house, in our home, in our family, we put God first. The second thing is Galatians 6:9 reminds us to not grow weary in doing good. The job of a parent is very hard. It's very difficult. No matter if you have babies all the way up to, or you're expecting a baby to, your kids are grown and out of the house. There's never a dull moment. There's never a time where you can put your hands down and be like, my job here is done. I've done all that I can. No, you haven't. Like it's forever. It's a lot to do. But your daily faithfulness, your daily little things that you do, little and big, right? They are very important. And I tell people, when I talk to my nieces or talk to friends that are struggling, do the next right thing. When you're like, man, it feels too much. It feels, I'm stressed out about all this. Just do the next right thing. Do the next good thing. And faithfully in those little steps, God will bless you. God will bless you in bigger things.
So true.
And just in that ties along with planting seeds in your child's heart. Like, start by little. You start by reading the Bible to them. You start by teaching them how to read. Then they're reading for themselves, and then you're helping them, counseling them through bigger things in life. And it's just going to continue, and God will continue to grow your knowledge, grow your love, grow your care to be able to help them. And lastly, I did want to say, if you're sending your children, no matter how old or how young they are, to school, to public school, private school, charter school, boarding school, which I don't think they do in America, but co-op or groups, Awana, Sunday school, different language schools, any school. Like, literally, as you're about to exit your house, I strongly admonish, encourage you so much to pray, to stop right outside, right inside your car. That's one of a practice that our family has, right inside our car, just to pray, and to pray, first of all, for a hedge of protection over your child, over their mind, over their heart, over their mouth, everything, but also to pray for the surroundings that they're about to go into, to pray for those teachers, to pray for the schools, to pray for those in administration, and to pray for them faithfully every single day. Every single time that you're sending them out. Prayer is the only thing that moves and changes and can fulfill anything. Our own willpower, our own thoughts, our own I'm just gonna make this the best year possible. That's not going to accomplish it. But when we pray and we give that up to God, God's the one then that works through us and works through other people to accomplish those things that He set out for us to accomplish. So it's a hard thing, and sorry if I said anything offensive or if I spoke too harshly about anything. I don't mean it. It's my first time. It's my first time here. Sorry guys. I'm new here. And so I'd be happy to talk about anything else or answer anything. It's just what I've learned from my own experience walking with God and being a Christian, but also walking with kids in schools and at all ages and seeing their struggle and then meeting them when their struggle is so hard already and wanting to like help them and being like, why didn't your parents bring you sooner? Why? And it's hard to know. And so if you even have an inkling, like, I just feel something is off, that's the Holy Spirit talking to you.
Yes.
If
Don't
you
ignore
feel
it.
anything is off, or ask and pray and say, God, like, do my kids need help? Do my kids, do they have any needs that I've missed? Because you probably have, because we're all human. We miss things all the time. And God will reveal it to you. And if he reveals it to you, act.
Yes.
Act and don't wait. Yeah.
Oksana,
Yeah.
I want to thank you. I've learned so much
Praise
while
God.
just listening to you. You encouraged me. You helped me to think, to question some things. So may God bless you in the tutoring that you're doing. You're blessing so many children, so many parents, happy parents come out of your tutoring doors. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
God bless you. And thank you everyone who's listening to us and sharing our podcast.
Yes.